The girl suddenly realized someone might have broken into the house. After hearing nothing for a while, she thought she must have imagined it. She was just about to turn around and check, but then, a massive tiger, nearly 2 meters long, was casually wandering through the house. She froze in terror, too scared to make a sound. She didn't have time to think. Feeling her way along the railing, she slowly backed into her room. Then she quietly closed the door. She immediately switched off the bedside lamp. She reached for the phone to call the police. Then she suddenly remembered she'd left her phone downstairs. Now she was in serious trouble. Summoning her courage, she slowly opened the door again. She cautiously peeked her head out. After making sure the tiger wasn't there, she tiptoed forward in one quick move. She quickly made it into the hallway. She grabbed the phone to call the police, but for some reason, the landline just happened to have no signal. She didn't have time to think because she suddenly realized the tiger was coming upstairs. She rushed into her little brother's room. She was about to wake him up, only to find the bed completely empty. She froze. Her brother had severe autism. He had no idea how dangerous the tiger was. She searched every corner she could think of, but there was no sign of him. If she had to guess, he had probably wandered downstairs by himself. The thought sent her into a panic. She forced herself downstairs. After searching everywhere without success, she carefully made her way into the laundry room, planning to call for help, but strangely enough, her cell phone, which had never failed before, kept showing no signal today. Just then, she suddenly heard a series of rapid footsteps echoed nearby. She thought it was her brother. She slowly peeked out and called out a little louder, but instead of seeing her brother, she heard the tiger growling as it came closer. She ignored everything else and immediately tried to escape, but the moment she opened the door, she was completely stunned. Someone had taken advantage of the night and nailed a wooden plank across the outside of the door. No matter how hard she pushed, it wouldn't budge. The banging echoed loudly through the house. It quickly attracted the tiger, but she had no idea. Instead, she found a damaged window. She grabbed an iron and smashed it against the wooden board. She was just about to break through, but suddenly she had no choice. The tiger was about to tear the door apart. She climbed onto a trash can and tried to jump into the air duct, but the inside of the duct was too slippery. She couldn't keep her grip. At the critical moment, she pushed off with all her strength, and just before the tiger burst in, she pulled herself inside. A second later, the tiger walked directly beneath her. She was so nervous she could barely breathe. She tried to climb even higher, but sweat kept pouring down uncontrollably. The harder she tried to climb, the more she slid downward. As panic set in, her phone suddenly rang. It was a call from the police, which only made her even more terrified. Her whole body started shaking. Sure enough, the tiger hadn't gone far and came back after a thunderous roar. When she looked down again, her phone had been smashed to pieces. She had never witnessed anything this horrifying. She was terrified beyond words. Her body was giving out, and she began slipping downward. She was about to lose her grip. Just then, the tiger seemed to hear a faint crackling sound. It kept circling beneath her. After finding nothing, it finally walked away. Once everything went quiet below, she finally let out a sigh of relief, but sweat continued pouring off her body until it formed a single drop that fell from the vent and hit the floor with a loud plop. The sound quickly brought the tiger back. The smell of human sweat told the tiger she was nearby. A moment later, its head slowly appeared. She immediately looked away, praying it hadn't spotted her. Miraculously, the tiger actually turned and walked away. She cautiously looked down again, but what she saw made her forget about staying quiet. Using both her hands and feet, she climbed upward with everything she had. Fortunately, the friction between the metal duct and her skin actually helped her make some progress, but before she could celebrate, she realized she didn't dare look down. She caught her breath, gathered all her strength, and kept climbing. After what felt like forever, she finally made it to the top, unaware that the tiger was staring right at her. Then it suddenly turned and walked away. She tore open a package of raw meat. Then, she stuffed it with a deadly amount of sleeping pills. Finally, she tossed the meat into different corners of the house. After finishing everything, she carefully hid behind a wall. Soon a dark figure appeared. She quickly looked away, holding her breath. But then, her barefoot brother suddenly walked out. No matter how desperately she signaled him, he didn't respond and walked straight into the living room. The next second, the massive tiger slowly approached, separated from her by only one wall. After finishing the meat, the tiger appeared in front of her. The sleeping pills had no effect on the enormous beast. Before the tiger noticed her, she raised her gun to fire, only to discover the next chamber was empty. The shot did absolutely nothing. She could only run while firing. The enraged tiger charged at her at full speed. At the critical moment, she dove under a table. Before she could recover, she saw her brother calmly sitting on the couch, watching TV as if nothing had happened. The tiger standing on the table would find him sooner or later. Realizing that, she couldn't waste another second. She quietly crawled out and locked the glass door. Just as she grabbed her brother, he was so absorbed in the TV that he slapped her across the face. The loud smack instantly caught the tiger's attention. With one massive leap, it lunged at her again, landing right on the kitchen counter. She quickly flipped the switch. As the tiger recoiled in pain, she sprinted to the storage room. She grabbed the iron and slammed it against the wooden board. The tiger was about to break in. At the last second, the board finally gave way. Ignoring the pouring rain, she climbed out the window, escaping just before the tiger reached her. She finally got out alive. After getting into the car, she started the engine and shifted into gear in one smooth motion. One press of the gas pedal and she'd be gone. But then she hesitated. Her autistic little brother was still inside. Without her, he wouldn't survive. She wiped away her tears and got out of the car without hesitation. She climbed back into the house through the window, picked up the pistol with one bullet left, and moved forward in a crouch. Finally, in a corner, she found her brother trembling with fear. He seemed to realize what had happened and stayed close behind his sister. But just then, the tiger suddenly appeared and lunged at her brother. Somehow, she found the courage. She thrust a burning torch toward the tiger, then quickly pulled her brother behind her and fired a shot straight at its head. But the tiger wasn't hurt at all. Instead, provoked by the attack, it became even more furious. The siblings made their way into the kitchen using the torch. She opened the refrigerator and told her brother to get inside. Then she quickly climbed in after him. Luckily, the brand new refrigerator refrigerator hadn't been plugged in yet. They stayed curled up inside for hours. The next day, after they were sure the tiger was gone, she slowly opened the refrigerator door. At that exact moment, the wooden planks on the front door were removed, revealing their stepfather. He had come to collect their bodies, but when he saw they were both alive, he froze in shock. He quickly regained his composure and slammed the door shut, determined to finish the job himself. The girl still held on to a sliver of hope. She begged him to spare them, but her stepfather had already taken out massive life insurance policies on both of them. But the next second, the tiger tore him apart alive. The siblings seized the chance to escape, hand in hand. From that day on, they had only each other.